moved my stuff yesterday or the other day when I was showing off things, and now my setup is messed up. So give me a second. It's all crooked. B's playing Clue right now, so I guess he's busy. Can you come help me, B? I feel like I did something wrong. I don't know what it is yet. Sorry, you guys just see my fingers. I guess that's right. It's kind of straight. That's probably fine, isn't it? I don't know. Not me. Should be fine. I remember to turn the light on this time. And like normal, I'm going to take 2 seconds and I'm going to send this to a handful of people that I usually talk to when I'm on here. And I can almost guarantee one of them is asleep because he works like a night shift or whatever. How do I do this again? It's kind of hot today, so if you hear my fan and stuff, my bad. I don't know who's awake and who's not awake. Most of you guys are probably not awake or are at work, which is understandable. I don't know. I said something weird about it. I don't know. I sent it to some random people. If anybody winds up on here and they do want me to be notifying them whenever I am live, of course you can follow and stuff and then it'll automatically do it. But if not, you can tell me and I'll message it to you on Instagram. Because sometimes people won't get notifications anyway from YouTube. So I put my camera back up, but it seems wobblier than normal, probably because I did it and it wasn't B who did it, so my bad. But this was how far we got on BD-1 the other day. So looking pretty decent. I didn't even make too many mistakes last time. So we're going to try to finish him today because I have more free time. B, are you on? To see if the sound is working. Okay. Thank you. I was having to check. Watch your ears. They have a Nightmare Before Christmas set coming out, and I've been having a ton of people send it to me, like all on the same day, because they know that I collect a lot of Nightmare Before Christmas stuff. I'm not sure if I'm going to get it or not, because it's kind of pricey. And I have a lot of other stuff that I kind of want if I'm going to be spending that much money anyway. But I know my birthday and Christmas are coming up too, so who knows. Maybe I'll wind up with it. I need to focus on my books more than I need to focus on Lego, but this is a nice distraction, so I'm enjoying it. I'm trying to keep the 2 bags of the smaller stuff. Okay. Trash can up here is getting full. So it looks like we're working on this part. I'm guessing that's like the back part of his head. And then we'll build the front part of his head maybe in the next set. Who knows? Usually when I do these, anybody who's watched these before knows I kind of just make a mess of things. Barely know what's going on. I have the wrong one of these. I think I need a shorter one. Oh, that's right. There's 3. I only saw 2. So I need to put 3 of these black pieces on there. And that's the first step. So we're on our way. And then it looks like I need the ones that have these little things on it. So we can put them here. I think the last time I was on here, I was mostly talking about Disney World. Because we're thinking about going again on another trip. Hopefully in the next year or so. We wanted to take our kid, but we don't think he's quite as ready as we hoped he would be. So that might wait, but we might still end up going to California or something instead. Because I have a friend out there, and so we'll be able to go and see her and see that Disney. But I heard there's a lot of like renovations being made right now. My sister warned me about it, so she said we might not want to go there after all, in which case we might do Universal or something instead. My fan is really blowing harder today. It is getting me. I don't know. Let me try to turn it off so it's not rotating. I don't remember how to do that. We'll just turn it off. I don't remember how to keep it from rotating. So I'm just going to turn it off for now and just not die of heat stroke. We live in a very old house, and so when the house was built, it didn't actually have central air. And because of that, it is very hot upstairs. So whenever they finally got air conditioning put in, because this was my grandparents' house, they didn't have the ability to get it hooked up to the upstairs. So it was just like we had a window unit. And then later they wound up putting in, I guess I could say central air, but it only works in the main rooms of the house. So that's only downstairs. So up here we have a window unit, and then we also have the fan that's in my room. So we'll see how long I can last before I need to figure out the fan. Or maybe B will come over and fix it for me. He's playing Clue. We were playing Medieval Dynasty earlier. And I actually do enjoy that game. It's fun for me because it's a mindless little game that I can play, and I don't have to think because I make B think for me. Sorry, I just couldn't remember how to turn off the rotation.
Do you want to like it?
No, because it's making my books go everywhere. Yeah. He's going through and like pausing. I might be able to make that work. I'll just have to move my book a little. Without the air circulating, it's pretty miserable, so I think that'll be fine. Yeah, it's not moving my book anymore. Thanks, B. He's so supportive and sweet. I dressed up way too much today, though. We just went to Kroger. We were dropping off our little chicken nugget to hang out with his grandparents today and tomorrow. And we don't really go out and do stuff a lot, which is both of us. It's not just a him thing. We kind of just don't like dealing with crowds and stuff sometimes and people. And it's almost Halloween, so that means he'll have to start taking me to the Halloween places soon, so I should probably let him off the hook for a little bit. Because I'm going to be like, hey, Spirit opened, which they haven't opened in our area yet. There are Spirit Halloween's open now, but ours is not open, so we have to keep waiting, which is not cool, but it is what it is. I just have to be more patient, and it's not going great. I did go the other weekend with my sister-in-law and my mother-in-law, and we went to like Michael's where I got some stuff. Eventually I'll show it off. I don't have it out and easy to access right now. And then I got something, my blanket at Home Goods. I showed that yesterday. And then I forgot to get the frame that I needed. I complained about that yesterday too. And so I still need to do that at some point. We live so far from everything. Living on a farm is nice, but sometimes it's a little frustrating because you can't just like drive 15 minutes and get to the store. You have to drive like a half hour. Okay, now I'm supposed to connect this to here. And to me, it looks like it's supposed to be like that. So that's what I'm going to say. I think in a little bit, I might play some Oblivion. I can't stream that, of course. I've mentioned that before because I played on PS5, and when you play it on PlayStation, it's streaming only. You can't download it. I could technically figure it out for the Xbox if I wanted to, but I have to make 2 of these. But I just have to log in and all that junk, and I just don't feel like it. You know, just the honest truth. So I have 2 of them, and then they go here. And here. So we're going to do that. And that's looking good. Now I need for these pieces. Looks like I'm kind of locking some stuff together. And then we're going to flip it upside down. See, that one didn't snap as much. We're going to flip it upside down like this and rotate it this way based off of the picture that I see. And we're going to put some of these little guys in here. Also give it some stability and keep it from falling apart. Looking good. And then it looks like one of these goes here to make it taller, I suppose. Now it shows 4 of these going on the front side here. Sorry, I moved my camera and I realized I think I've been doing some of this off screen. I need to lean forward so you guys can see my hands better. Looking for the other pieces. Let me double check that I haven't lost my mind. It's because I used some of these here. I'm supposed to use the 2 ones on this spot and this spot, but I didn't. I used the 1. And I need the 1 pieces for here, for the front. Okay. Then it has you rotate it again. And one of these long pieces is here. I have been starting to work on my book again a little bit. I'm rereading parts of it now and trying to decide which one I want to work on first. They're kind of complicated because a lot of my books all like are together. They're like incarnations of one another and stuff, so it kind of becomes complicated. And so I periodically have to go back and reread stuff to make sure that I know what I want to be doing and what the characters are doing, because that character might have died or whatever in one timeline, but he exists or she exists in another timeline, kind of. That's like an easy, overly simplified way of putting that. Because it's technically not them, but it kind of is. I've been working on the same stories, for a very, very long time. I started working on my Pantheon like over a decade ago. So sometimes my plots get a little bit crazy because when you have a Pantheon that you've been working on for 10 years, it's kind of easy to do. Like some of my books that I've been working on in this world have like go back pretty far, so. Okay, so it looks like that's what this is supposed to look like. And then it's supposed to like slide in here. So we're gonna attempt that. For chance. Maybe not. Maybe it looks like it's supposed to. Oh, maybe it's supposed to slide this way. Oh, that worked better. So it slides in this way somehow, but I'm not entirely sure. We're just gonna leave that half slid so I know what's going on. I can turn the page. We're more than halfway through the book. You can see the little like guy. So you do have to have this, it looks like, pushed all the way out. Move this stuff so I can have it more in the center. And we're going to build another little thing here. I need to move it out of the way and find my little pieces. I think the storyline of Oblivion is really good, and I'm thinking about it again. I'm interested to see what the next Elder Scrolls game is going to be like, but I don't know if in my mind it can top I don't know, Morrowind was really good too. I can't find the little piece that goes here, but I'm probably blind. Like normal. So I'm sorting through these pieces over here to see if I just have one knocked the wrong way, which I did. It's right here. This is why you should take your time and make sure you have your stuff facing the right way from the beginning. But I don't. And one of these pieces. My Gengar Crocs still haven't come out yet, which is a bummer. Okay, so on here, this winds up. It's supposed to go like this, I guess. Oops. Breaking that apart. It does look like that. No, it doesn't. These are. Yeah, it does. Sometimes these look hollow, not like that. In the picture, they look solid, but these don't. So maybe I have these opposite. Ah, I do. Yeah, I need the hollow ones so that they line up. I didn't notice that until now. So now they have like the whole ones instead. When I was little, I remember watching Star Wars for the first time when I was visiting some of my family in New Mexico. And that was like before the new movies had come out. So we didn't have Phantom Menace and everything because I'm older than probably people think. So I remember watching it, and my parents weren't sure about letting me watch it because I'm prone to nightmares. Thanks, Emmy. And Star Wars did indeed give me nightmares as a kid. That's just because I'm weak and I get nightmares from like literally everything. So it wasn't because Star Wars is actually scary. I think it was just because the aliens like sometimes look a little bit weird. So I just had nightmares because that's what I do. Did you ever get your frame built for your carpet making thing that you were working on the other day? I forgot to ask you about that. Okay, so I flip it, and this is going to get a yellow thing here. And then it's kind of weird. They had you build this one off, and then they had you build this one on, like instead of building it as a separate part and attaching it. I don't know why they did that different when they're the same. But anyway. I did get some new resin molds, Emmy, so I want to try that, but I want to use up my old resin, so it kind of stinks because that probably means that it's not going to work super great, but I just don't want to buy a whole bunch of new resin and then what I'm trying not work. Okay, this looks like it's supposed to go somewhere in the middle, so I'm going to hope that I'm getting that in the right spot. I believe that's the middle. So I think we're good. Then on the other side in the middle, it looks like this piece goes in. It's kind of like lined up from what I can tell. And there's going to be this brown piece that goes in this way from this side. Oh, it's got to stick out and be flush with this. So it's supposed to be something like that, I guess. And now this is actually going to go on top of here, with the red side facing out and the brown in. So something like this. So we're making progress again. Now, let's see, I'm going to need these and this piece. Looks like that's going to go here. I need to take pictures of my character that I built for Oblivion. I was laughing about it with one of the admins from Civil Scrolls on Instagram, which is a really good Elder Scrolls fan page. But we were talking about how we both really like dark elves, which they're kind of like universally crapped on. Like, people don't usually like dark elves, but I love them, and he actually does too. So we were joking about it, and I told him that in my most recent build in Morrowind or in Oblivion, because you can make them any color, it has like the color scale gradient thing instead of just having set colors like it does in Skyrim. I went ahead and I took that liberty to build myself a snow elf using the dark elf stats, because I like the dark elf stats a lot too. And so I just made him like glowing white, super glowing white. I kind of gave up on making his face the way I wanted because I was just getting frustrated. The builders back then just really, I remember back then thinking, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Like, I can make them so detailed. And then it was actually like garbage, actual garbage. So anyway, I just went ahead and I made a snow elf. So he is a glowy white snow elf, which is so goofy looking. But I need to take a picture so I can send it to them so they can see it, because it's just kind of funny since snow elves don't exist. And it would be really cool if you could play snow elf. Like, I would absolutely love if they put one in the game. Like, that would be so dope. But I don't know if they're going to, because that seems too cool. So we probably won't be that lucky. But I would love it. I would totally play a snow elf. I like that armor is like super great in Oblivion. That's one of my favorite armors ever. The Ancient Fulmer armor. Because I'm a light armor girly. All of my characters always play light armor. And one-handed. I change the one-handed weapon. Sometimes I'll use an axe and sometimes I'll use a mace or whatever. Very rarely do I use a sword, but sometimes I will, because I really like the Dawnbreaker sword from Skyrim. And I think Umbra had a sword in Oblivion that I really liked. She had a full set of armor that was really good. But, yeah. So he's literally glowing. I also have elves like that in my book. They're also technically snow elves, but they're not like Falmer. They're just elves that lived up there in the snowy-ish areas. And they're more related to dark elves than anything else, actually, despite the fact that they're vastly different shades. But my lore is vastly different than the Elder Scrolls lore, obviously. It's kind of satisfying to see the patterning that they do to keep things like even and stuff. I like that. We're making progress again. Okay. These look like they go here. Tonight, we're having technically Korean food. We went to the store and got like the frozen food from BD-1, which is a Korean brand. And if you guys like Korean food and you can't get it in your area, but you can get BD-1, I highly recommend it because it's actually pretty good. I don't know if necessarily a Korean person would say it's like the best food in the world, although Korean people do own the brand, so maybe they would. But I will say that it's pretty good. It is not as good as fresh, obviously, but when you're craving Korean food, I think it is a very good substitute for fresh when you can't have it. Sometimes I'm daring and I do make Korean food at home and spoil people. And by that I mean B. And he does appreciate it. But he also knows it's hard. Like, he likes when I make bibimbap bowls, but they're like more difficult. So we don't have those super frequently because I have to make all of the different banchan. And so it takes me a really long time to do. But bulgogi is so good. When I make it, because I don't always want to make it like super fancy, I make like a bulgogi with ground beef, and you can just use the bulgogi sauce. Oh, hi. Yeah, I didn't recognize that name at first, but good to see you made it. If you need the recipe for the bulgogi bowl thing that I make, just DM me on Instagram and I'll send it to you. I think I still have it bookmarked on my stuff. But it is so good. I just love Korean food so much. I've been failing really bad making I really like what do they call it? John, like kimchi john and like different stuff, but like the little pancakes. But I've been really bad at making them. Yeah, our Korean barbecue is like pretty far away as well, like more than an hour. And so we usually only go for special dates. Um, and we usually don't actually do the barbecue. I usually just wind up getting like a bibimbap bowl or something because grilling my own meat stresses me out, and I'm sure it would be fine, but I just always worry that I'm gonna like give somebody food poisoning. So I wind up not wanting to do it. I'm trying to see. I'm building up on top of this, so it's kind of, I'm not super great at noticing things. Right, I don't trust myself to make that. Like sometimes we go to a fondue place, and it's kind of similar where you have to like make the food yourself. For the kind of fondue that we usually get, which is like this, it's got this like bubbling soup, and you like put the meat in it, but it's got like a timer, and we usually just put a timer on and then just do whatever they recommend. So I'm not as worried about it, but even then, times I get nervous with stuff like the chicken or the shrimp, and so we leave it on way too long, and then it winds up being kind of chewy, and I'm like, I probably should have just picked the easier one. I think this was supposed to be over one. I put it in the wrong spot. Story of my life. So we'll just shift these down one brick. When I was in college, I used to hang out with a bunch of Korean students because we were all in the same clubs. And so I went and I used to go to their church. And before they had service, they would have like all of the Korean ladies and families would bring like homemade Korean food. Oh my gosh, it was so good. I went like so often just so I could go eat it. This looks like it goes here. I'm trying to figure out how it attaches though. It looks like it's like that. But that was also kind of like when I used to go to church back in the olden days. My church also used to have meals sometimes, but usually it would be after the service. But at the one that we went to, they ate before, and I remember like we would eat so much sometimes that I like couldn't focus, which made me feel really guilty because like yeah, I was going because the food was good and I wanted to hang out with my friends, but like you can't just go and ignore something. Like regardless of whatever the religion is, like if you're going to attend, you might as well be respectful and pay attention. So I had to like teach myself to not eat too much while I was there so that way I would be able to focus. Because I didn't want to be disrespectful. Okay, so this fits on top. I also think Asian food is one of my favorite foods. I can't say if it's my actual favorite because I'm also technically I'm Latina and I love me some Mexican food, like a lot. Like I feel like I could eat Mexican food and Asian food probably every day if I was allowed to. I feel like I'm missing. Oh, this one goes here. I don't make Mexican food very often either, though. My mom doesn't make like real Mexican food anymore. She said when she moved up here, because we're actually not from like where I live, we're from Texas. And she said when she moved up here, everybody would ask her to make Mexican food, but then like she'd make real Mexican food, and they were expecting more like Tex-Mex Mexican food or like white people Mexican food, I guess. And so whenever she'd make it, they'd be so confused because they were expecting that and it would be like different than what they thought, and then they wouldn't like it. So she stopped because real Mexican food, some of it takes a long time. Yeah, I think a lot of Mexican food is just it's really nice because it's casual and it's easy. And we only wound up with one extra piece this time. I've been keeping an eye on that. And this was what we built this time. So we're going to keep going. Watch your ears because I'm about to open bag 5. One more bag. I still think chimichangas is like one of my favorite Mexican like foods to get at a Mexican restaurant. But if my mom's making stuff, I really like when she makes we make papas con huevo, which is literally just like scrambled eggs that have like bits of fried potato in it, and then you put it inside of I prefer it in a flour tortilla, and then you put some like salsa in there. And sometimes she'll put sausage or she'll do crumbled bacon. And I just freaking love that. That's one of my favorite things. She used to only make it on special occasions when we were kids because making tortillas is kind of a pain in the butt. But now you can get these like from Walmart actually. And it's a brand called Tortilla Land. And they're so like, they taste so much like legit, like homemade tortillas. So now that we can get those, like my mom makes way more different Mexican foods because like, you know, we put everything in tortillas down there. It's just like bread, you know, you have extra roast, you put it in a tortilla. If you have, you know, you want to eat eggs, you put it in a tortilla. And it's delicious. Maybe it was a bit of a culture shock to B whenever he first saw us putting random stuff in a tortilla. I mostly eat it when I see my family. Yeah, making some of it can be kind of a pain. We mostly make Tex-Mex like border food stuff now. Like we don't spend time making gorditas or anything like that. Like my mom made tostadas the other day, and those were pretty good. And she hadn't tried to do anything like that before, but it was kind of funny because she didn't want to like deep fry the corn tortillas, so she was trying to do it in the oven to bake them, but still get them crispy. But then was getting frustrated because like the texture and stuff is not quite the same. I'm like, well, yeah, Mom, because you're like trying to make it healthy, and it's not supposed to be healthy. It's fried. So that was kind of funny. It still wound up tasting good though, so I couldn't complain. I think it goes here. Let's see. That looks right. I don't know what part we're building right now. I haven't had sushi in a while, like from a restaurant either. I think we had... There's like a place in town, but it doesn't have my favorite rolls at it. They're good, but they're just not my favorite ones. They have some eel ones that are good because eel is one of my favorite types of sushi. But I like a crab sushi a lot, and this one that was in our area used to have a crunchy crab one that was really good. And it's different than a lot of other people's crunchy crabs somehow. But they wound up getting closed down. We haven't been there in forever because they started getting bad reviews. But they were not run by like an Asian family. It was like a chain that did sushi. So we stopped going because they were getting really bad reviews. Like people were getting sick or something. I think that's progress. This is going to get these. Didn't I used to see that on your stories all the time? I feel like I remember seeing you always posting sushi and us talking about it because you were posting it on your stories. And I would be super jealous because some of it looks so good. We don't go very often, but it is super good. Now I make yeah, it was. I make California rolls at home a lot. That's very easy to do, and it tastes like the same because it's just a California roll. So if you're ever craving sushi, like make yourself California rolls at home because it's so simple. It's literally just I use imitation crab because I'm cheap, and then I just you just use a Kewpie mayo, and then you just use regular rice. You don't even have to use sushi rice. It's better, but if you're lazy like I am, and then you just put some Kewpie mayo in with your shredded crab, or I just chop it because I'm lazy, so I just chop the crab, and then I just put it. Sometimes I don't even make it into rolls. I literally just put the crab, and then I put some cut up cucumber and avocado on my plate with the thing of rice, and then I get like the small sheets of nori, and I just like put it all in there and just pinch it and eat it like a hand roll. I usually am good and I make Brandon's into an actual roll. But for me, I'm usually lazy and I don't. I have a rolling mat and everything. It's just frustrating to roll it. Sometimes I'm too lazy to even cut it for him, so I roll it and I just make him eat it like a burrito. But it still tastes the same, so it don't really matter, right? Probably. Fried shrimp fried was pretty good. I think I made I tried to make one that was, what is that called? Salmon. That one made me disappointed. I did not like how the salmon turned out, and so I almost didn't keep making it, but the California roll was so easy. I can keep doing the California roll. I tried to do a sushi bake one time too, and I thought it was really gross. My fried rice turned out bad. I'm still mad about it, and I haven't tried a second time because I'm still so mad about how bad it turned out. I don't know what I did wrong. I guess I followed a bad recipe. I did find a recipe from somebody that actually like makes it all the time. They are Asian. I tried to like be good and follow all the rules exactly, and I still botched it. So I don't know what I did wrong. I was overthinking it maybe, or maybe my rice was too wet, like because I was using technically fresh rice, but I used like the kind that you microwave. So it's kind of technically already dry. You know what I'm talking about? This looks like it's supposed to snap here. And good news is that it fits. So I didn't mess that up. But I'm jealous of people that can make shrimp fried rice because it seems easy, but it's clearly not easy. For me, anyway. I'll try again later. It's just like my kimchi and my pajang. I just have not figured it out yet, but I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to figure it out because I really do love it. Oh, I forgot the long piece. I actually love cooking. I have a lot of anime and movie and stuff cookbooks right now. B just got me the Five Nights at Freddy's one because I'm super into Five Nights at Freddy's. Not the game, but the lore. I actually haven't even played the game. I just like the lore a lot, and I like reading about it, and I like watching videos on it. And the movie was okay, but I don't think it followed the lore close enough, so that made me a little mad. I wanted a more lore-heavy movie. Yeah, I think that was my step that I did wrong because I tried to do, I saw some people say that the easy trick was to just get that microwavable rice and just use it. But I think next time I am just going to make rice and then put it in the fridge for a day and then use that because I think even though I used that other rice, I just don't think it was the right texture. So it came out too wet and it was disappointing. So I'll do it better next time when I get the courage. I've been doing good cooking from the other cookbooks. I cook from the Lord of the Rings one and the D&D ones pretty regularly. I enjoy it. I just love cooking. It's hard when you got a little, like, he's not a toddler anymore, but in the past, a toddler running around, not wanting to let you cook. But now, since he's older, it's a little bit easier. He understands a lot better when I tell him I'm cooking than when he was a kid, which has been a relief. Yeah, I'm definitely going to try the regular rice next time. And it'll probably be fine, and then I'll be mad at myself for waiting so long to, like, try again. Because I love fried rice. B makes fried rice sometimes, and it's pretty good. But maybe he's just got this special touch. His family is part Thai, so he might just have that ancestral touch. I'm going through this pretty fast. I feel like I did the first parts really slow for some reason. I don't know. Maybe I was overthinking it because this has so many pieces. But I'm doing okay now. And this will be cool when it's done. Oops. I don't know why I grabbed that piece. It's supposed to be this piece, so it kind of has that curved over the edge look. We'll get going. Yeah, cooking does take time. I understand that. Sometimes it's just way more convenient to get faster meals that are already pre-made. That's exactly why I'm getting that BB-Go stuff tonight, because it's just faster, and then I get to spend more time either streaming, or I'll stream and do this, and then B and I are probably going to play some video games together, and then I'll probably make dinner. But if I cooked, then I would be downstairs cooking and not spending time with him. So I'm only streaming for a little bit, and like I said, he's like literally right there. I still have dishes from this morning. True story. I'm a real girly. It's real life here. I usually try to do the dishes as I'm cooking, but sometimes you just don't. You just want to hurry. Like this morning, since we were gonna take the kid over to his grandparents' house, I obviously didn't want to also spend time doing dishes and everything, so they're waiting for me downstairs. Luckily, there's not that many because I didn't use that many this morning, but my mom actually hates cooking. She's not bad at it, she just doesn't like it. And so a lot of times when I'm over there, like for the holidays, she always tells me, like, if you cook, then I'll wash all the dishes. And I'm like, done. Sold. I'll take you up and I'll do that so fast because I do like cooking. It's just all of that other stuff I don't like. Okay, looks like we made the other side. That's supposed to snap on here, supposedly. And it feels like it did. So that's some good progress. It's not even been an hour yet. I'm definitely going faster than last time. And now we have some of these, which, oh my gosh, I punched that. These are the ones that always say, like, click, 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 and then instruction booklets. So you have to make sure you click them in right. So it goes this way to this way. And it looks like it goes like that. And then one of these goes through the bottom. I don't see the hole. And then 3 of the blue things go up from here. I want to get some of the Pokemon. What are those? Are they Mega Blocks? They're not Lego. Whatever they are, they're not Lego. They do have quite a few Pokemon ones. And I think I have an Eevee one that I still have in the Pokeball downstairs, actually, that I never built. What the heck is that piece? I'm learning so much about pieces that I've never seen in my life because I don't usually build technical ones like this. I usually build like houses. Okay, there it goes. Now this time the gray is on the bottom and the white is on the top. And then in my head it looks like this. And then you rotate it on its side. And it doesn't look like it matters which way. It just shows you rotating it and then putting these in like that. It doesn't even show them all the way pushed in all the way. Yeah, I've seen some. I just haven't bought any, and I keep saying I'm going to, and then I always for some reason don't. Oh no. Oh man. This part looks confusing to me. I have to put this in here somehow. But my brain can't understand how. Oh, it goes this way. Sorry, my brain like is shorting out with this part. I think I'm supposed to put it in this spot. And then I have to push this red piece out. So I can put this in here. And now I need to, I think, line that up. And then there's a brown piece I push in here. So it goes like this. And then it shows this being clicked down more. I'm pretty sure that that's what it's supposed to be. I don't know if they have a Gengar kit because I feel like he would just be a giant piece of plastic. Okay, now it shows this going back up. Oh, to push this in. Sure. Okay. We're on to bag 6, which is the final bag. And this time we had 4 extra pieces. Okay, watch your ears. There was a Gengar? I'm gonna have to look again. I need a Haunter. Gengar's technically my second favorite Pokemon. Haunter is my favorite Pokemon, but Haunter being a second evolution and not a final just doesn't get the same amount of love as a final evolution does. And the reason that Haunter is my favorite is because as a kid, we didn't have anybody that I could trade with. And since Gengar was a trade-only Pokemon, I couldn't get it. So I couldn't get a Gengar until I was like a full-grown adult working at GameStop. And then I could do it. Oh, I finally found the little droid figure. He's so cute. I knew there was going to be one in there. But it's super cute. Aw. I know it's hard to see. I'm putting him to the side. Okay, this looks like we're mostly making cutesy stuff to add to it. And his little eyes and stuff like that, maybe. Yeah, I think that's what this is. So it's mostly the decor spots. I didn't have that ability. My parents weren't super tech savvy and we didn't have a lot of money. I wasn't allowed to work growing up, except for in the summers. So I didn't have a lot of like my own money to spend. And I usually wanted to spend it on clothes because alternative clothes was really expensive. And I didn't want my parents to have to pay for it because I was like one of the only alternative like gothy kids at the school. So I usually would buy a lot of my own stuff. So when it came to video games, like as a kid, we usually had like a couple generations old. And then for my my Game Boy and stuff, I didn't usually bother anybody. So I had one kid at school that I kept telling to trade with me, and she kept saying she would, but she never would trade with me. And I was really bummed about that for a really long time, but that just made me get like super attached to Haunter. So Haunter's my favorite. I do have the biggest Pokemon on my chest is a Haunter, my chest piece. And he's my favorite. He also hurt the most because he was close to my neck. I think he hurt the most. No, actually, no. The one in the center of my chest hurt the most. That was my. No, I'm looking at him now. I'm trying to remember. Gengar hurt the most because he was close to my armpit. So I'll say Gengar hurt the most, actually. Yeah. But I got really attached to Haunter, and this isn't the right piece. It's similar to that piece, but it's like this. Yeah, Haunter's so cute. He's goofy. He's fun. He's mischievous. I've just always really loved him. Okay. They're kind of like these instructions are I was reading the instructions in order on the page, but apparently they're not in order they're not supposed to be done in order on the page. They put them in a weird order. You care that their shinies are the same? Yeah, I do care that their shinies are the same because it's so annoying. Everybody's got cool shinies. Like, I don't understand why Gengar and Haunter got these stupid, barely noticeable different. Although, like, when you get a shiny Gengar and it goes Mega, it turns white, right? Or is that just like a hallucination that I'm remembering right now? Because it's possible I just invented that in my head because I like them so much. And that sounds like something I would do. But yeah, I think that's a bummer. Same thing with like when you catch an Eevee, it's just gray, you know? Like it's like a grayish brown. It's not a cool color. Luckily when you evolve an Eevee, it's like cool. And the white Mega / Gigantamax is literally the only reason it's worth trying to even get a shiny Gengar, because otherwise it's kind of dumb. Because I mean, like, it's not, I don't know. I wish they made all of the Pokemon have like cool shinies, because it's just such a bummer. Because they're not the only ones that are like that. There's a lot of Pokemon where their shinies are basically the same freaking color, or they pick that ugly green color that I don't think anybody likes. That green. So apparently I have to make 2 of these, by the way. I don't think anybody likes that horrible green color that Espeon gets. It's such a horrible color. Like, if you get a shiny Eevee and you make an Espeon, I just side eye you, because there's no way that you actually like that color. I don't know, maybe you do, but it's not even like a cool green to me. It's like that weird grayish green. I agree. I do think that's why we got that shiny version of it as a Mega, because they realized it was lame. Because it's a Gengar. Like, come on, those are like cool. I don't know, maybe we're some of the. I don't know. Gengar's popular. Gengar's getting more popular though, because when I used to say Gengar was my favorite, like when I was younger, people would think I was weird, and I think it's because of just it being a ghost type, and like back then that kind of thing wasn't as cool. Because I mean, I've been a fan of Pokemon since like the 90s, right? So yeah, the radioactive green is horrible. The pink ones are usually cool, and the blue ones are usually cool, and every so often, it's mostly those that are cool. There's like some that are like more of a reddish color, but I don't like the green ones. I don't like the ones that are just the lame, slightly shade difference of their original. And the gold ones sometimes also look really poopy. Like really poopy, and I don't like those either, because the gold just looks like a vomit brownish yellow. Gengar was always popular, and Charizard. Not where I lived, I guarantee. Well, I lived in the middle of nowhere. Most kids didn't like Pokemon. it kind of like had a small phase when Pokemon first came out and like everybody wanted the cards and stuff. What, like around 97-ish? 97? Like I was in first or second grade-ish. So it was like kind of popular then, I think, to like Pokemon. And then that ended really quick. Because next thing I knew, I was in middle school and we used to get there was another girl that would play on the bus sometimes. I wasn't allowed to take my Game Boy, so she would let me play hers because she always would get stuck on puzzle parts with the Team Rocket stuff. So she'd save it and then let me play it on the bus so I could get past that stuff for her. But anyway, yeah, I used to. I always liked Pokemon, but I definitely remember back then it was not cool for a long time. It was cool at the very beginning when you were a little kid and you were supposed to outgrow it, I guess. And I just didn't do that. Because why would I? And I always wanted to work with like Pokemon stuff like for a long time, but it just isn't something that turned out for me. Scott, you would. You're just a nice person though. You're a lovely person that you can't be mean about stuff. And so of course you would like the shiny Espeon. I think it depends on the game though, because sometimes the green looks kind of like dirty green and sometimes it looks neon green. When it looks neon green, it's cool, but when it's got that like weird brownish gray color to it, it doesn't look as cool to me. But I'm glad that somebody loves shiny Espeon because they deserve love too. But I'm going to take my shiny Umbreon over shiny Espeon. That's probably my favorite. So I'm attaching his eyes here. I think Pidgey and stuff also have really dumb shinies, right? Aren't they also like the slight shade difference kind of shiny? I was pretty sure they were. Okay. I think I'm going a step too far. I think I need this piece and this piece. And then it looks like it goes on this piece. Was Pokemon always cool at your school, Scott? Because your school was close to where mine was. Because it definitely wasn't at my school. And this snaps in here. So that's eyeball number 1, I believe. My kid also loves Pokemon. But now it's like kind of cool again. Because like even adults like Pokemon now. So I'm like less worried about that. Really? Man, I think where I went to school was just lame then. Because there were certainly not people that played that long. I mean, I didn't even play that long because I couldn't afford the games. Because I got some of the DS Legend of Zelda games instead, and I couldn't afford to get all of them. I usually can only get one game a year or so. But I know the one girl that I was talking about earlier, she played through, I think all of them. But I didn't know anybody else that was super into Pokemon. That's why I stopped collecting for a long time. I stopped collecting cards because it was expensive for one. I felt bad asking my parents for packs, and two, like I was the only person I knew that liked Pokemon, so I like just stopped. And I used to just look at my old cards over and over again because I liked Pokemon. And looking for the piece. I'm not seeing it. Is that sparkly fairy sound you? B? Okay. What are you playing? You're still playing Clue? Oh, Life. Your first job. That's so cool. My parents bought us a Pokemon. We had a pink Game Boy Color, and they bought me Pokemon Yellow, and that was when my sister and I were little, and like Yellow was still pretty new. So I remember her getting us those. This goes here. And then after that, like I said, I was like a little too nervous to ask her for too much stuff. So we used to go to summer school and they used to pay you like money because like my sister and I weren't allowed to have jobs when school was going on. And in summer school, used to pay us money to go to summer school. You get a $100 Visa gift card, and you couldn't miss any days. And so I used to go specifically so that I could get I would usually buy myself a pair of alternative shoes. So that usually meant I got like Converse, or I get myself Vans or something, because I didn't want my mom to have to pay like $100 for that. So I'd usually do that. And then I would use the extra money to buy myself a game for my Game Boy. She did wind up getting us a Game Boy Advance, like one of the clear purple ones. So I had the, what was it, Glacier Ice or whatever it was called. So I had one of those too. And one was technically for me and one was technically for my sister. And that was basically it. But I spent most of my money on my alternative clothes so that I could dress cool. And then when I got to college, I wasn't allowed to work when I was in college either because my parents considered like school my job. He's got both his eyes now. And since school was my job, that meant I wasn't really allowed to do anything else because they didn't want my grades to suffer, which meant I couldn't go to work. But after school, when I started working at GameStop, my dad bought me a 2DS, and so then I started catching up on all of the games. No lunch for you. I don't blame you. My dad worked at the school, so like I didn't get lunch money from my parents. He would walk directly to the cafeteria and pay for our lunch. And I definitely did care about my clothes. I mean, you can probably tell from my Instagram post, I've always dressed uniquely, I'll say. But yeah, I've been dressing alternative since I was like 10. And a lot of that clothes is expensive, and it's not as easy to just find at a resale shop, which is where we bought a lot of our stuff. We bought at resale shops or like during back to school sales. And since I hated pestering my mom for money, we weren't like so poor that she wouldn't have been able to buy me stuff, but I felt bad asking because I was very cognizant of money growing up. And I didn't want to be at the bother for something like clothes when I knew that we should be worried more about like medical bills and, you know, stuff like that. So I tried to cover a lot of that stuff. Anything that was bought from like the more expensive stuff, usually I try to save for. And then my mom would also get me some for like, you know, my birthday or Christmas or something like that. And she got me like trip pants or something like that. I still have some of those old trip pants, and for the most part, they still fit me. Not perfectly, but I mean, that kind of makes sense because I'm, you know, I got some of those pants in middle school, so it would be kind of amazing if they still fit me perfectly because I've had a kid and stuff since then. When I bought them, I definitely didn't think I was going to be having any kids. You know, you're a little kid. You don't think about that stuff when you're 12. I am mad my trip pants are missing the chain, but I had a friend in high school that used to wear trip pants a lot, and he choked somebody with them, so they got confiscated. And I think mine didn't get confiscated, but I think I took them off at home and I put them somewhere, and I can't find them now, so it's a bummer. I like having all my old stuff. I still have stuff from when I was in middle school, man. Let's see. This goes in the middle? Doesn't seem right, but I guess it is. If it still fits, I keep it, man. I don't see the point in not. This doesn't feel like a good fit. Am I missing something? Oh, there it goes. I just had to push harder. And this goes on the side here. Little knob for an ear, I guess. And now you make cool clothes. The person that didn't really care as much about clothes is making cool clothes, huh? making the second little ear thing that goes on the other side. Your stuff is cool though. You have a good like ability to draw. That tattoo you drew recently was pretty cool. You had the, what was that, Oogie Boogie arm for somebody? Well, I get that. When you're a kid, it's like, I don't know. I think when you're a kid, a lot of people don't care about their appearance as much. I did, but that was because I like really wanted to look like, you know, Good Charlotte and stuff. Because I thought they were super cool. Okay, so I got both of the little ears on. So he's kind of looking like a regular droid now. So I'll set that to the side. I'm working on a sleeve. I think I might have Giggle design it and then just get it tattooed. But it's going to be cryptids. She's already drawn my Mothman, and I think it looks super dope. So I'm really excited. I think you'd be good at designing people's tattoos. You should totally keep doing it. I want to get more Elder Scrolls tattoos because I'm a nerd. I'll do an, of course, on my chest as my underbust piece. Not Parthenax. Although I don't have a problem with him. I honestly usually just ignore the main story because I don't want to kill either of the dragons. And so I just keep playing. I basically play far enough to get the entire fire shout. And then these are actually different colors, I think. They're supposed to be like dark blue and then light blue. I didn't realize it because in the picture they look like the same freaking blue to me. Maybe I'm more colorblind than I thought. I was just like going to town because I started thinking about my Elder Scrolls tattoos and I forgot what I was doing. Let me find my little... This is my off-brand one. I don't think I could use that. Fingernails it is. But no, I was thinking about getting more Elder Scrolls tattoos. I've thought about getting a Skyrim map before on my leg, but I think the map is a lot bigger than I think it is if I want it to be as detailed as I'd like it to be. So I'm probably going to put something else on my leg. Let's redo this part and actually pay attention to what color, because there's actually these dark... Oh, B, I lost one. I think I just shot one like way across the room. Well, we're just going to try that again. You don't have any? I would have thought, I don't know where it went. I just heard it hit the floor.
Color?
It was a light blue, unfortunately, or a dark blue. Like one of these little teeny tiny ones. I think it went that way though. It's like this, but it could be a dark one or a light one, I don't know. I might have an extra of the other one. I might have an extra from my extra bin. If I can't find it, I have an extra red one, and we'll just replace it. Supposedly it does something. It doesn't, it's not like a kinetic one that has like a motor in it. But in the picture on the box, it says that his head and his legs can move. So we'll test that when I put them together. If you can't find it, B, it's my fault. I shot it across the room. He's crawling around on the floor right now trying to find it. It would be cool if it was kinetic, though, and you could make, like, an actual droid. Did I do that right? What is this? Solid. This. Solid. And this. I kind of wanted to do the droid thing at Disney, but I also didn't want to pay that much for a droid. Like, That's expensive. Those droids are so expensive. If B goes again, we might save up and do the lightsaber thing, though, because he's way more into Star Wars than I am. I might have enough of these to make it work. So whichever one I lost, I think, was an extra, hopefully. Let's see. Yeah, I have enough B. He couldn't find it, but I wound up having enough because I just need to fill up this area, so this one might be extra. It's some kind of button panel, I'm assuming. So it looks like this. Now I flip it like that. Oh, and it looks like I put these on here. I think my next tattoo will probably be my Mothman, though. Sorry, I'm going back and forth on what I'm talking about. It's pretty typical for me. I think it looks like that. In my head, it does. Isn't that so cool? We saw that too when we were at Universal, and there were a lot of people that had all the Harry Potter robes, and B really wants that too, because I know J.K. Rowling is problematic, but Harry Potter is still really important to this family. And luckily, all of the people in the movie basically have come out and said that she's trash anyway. So I support Harry Potter because I still support some of those people. And it does mean a lot to me as a person. That was like one of the first series that I got really into. My dad used to read to us. But anyway, I do think that's really cool. And I know like the actors there, or whatever they call them, whatever Disney calls their actors, was really cool. How they would like walk over and they'd like say stuff to you, and it would stress me out because I'm not really good at talking to people. But my sister would always play along. She's like personable and like cool. I've always been kind of like the awkward one of the two of us. She's like the cool one. Like, I mean, cool is like a personality type. You know what I mean? Like in anime where they're like, oh, that's the cool character. That's like, in my head, that's my sister. She's like the cool one that has a ditzy side. That would be my sister. I'm just like the awkward, nerdy one. Okay, it looks like I need to make 2 of these kinds of shapes. But I know B really wanted to get a lightsaber. We didn't get to do it the time that I went with him because we were kind of in a rush. We were doing mostly Universal Studios that time. And we wound up just doing one day so we could see Galaxy's Edge because it was brand new. This was back in 2020, literally right before the shutdown happened. And it was pre us even knowing that that stuff was about to go on. So we had gotten down there, got 2 of these. So we gotten down there and we had, my sister really wanted to ride Rise of the Resistance. And my sister, when she's really passionate about something, will discover everything that she needs to know about that thing to make sure she gets what she wants, because that's just the type of person she is. And so when we got there, she had like an app for us to download. She had rules on where we needed to be in the park at a certain time so that we could try, because supposedly it increased the likelihood of blah, 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 blah. But whatever the case, all of us had to get on this app and we all had to be online, do all this stuff. But we managed to get in one of the boarding groups for Rise of the Resistance. And she was like freaking out and screaming and stuff. I was so stressed out that day because I was so scared. Like, we came all this way. We paid extra to come see the Star Wars thing. So I was so scared that we weren't going to be able to see the specific ride that she wanted to go do. And then I was like, I hope it's good, because I didn't know about this ride. So like, I didn't know what to expect like she did. She's really into Star Wars, and her husband both. So like, they really wanted to go on this ride. So I just was excited for her because she was really into it. And so we did all this stuff, and we had a boarding group, and we have to be there at a very specific time and meet in a very specific place and all this stuff. And it wound up being really awesome. Like, that's definitely one of the best rides that we had gone on during that trip. All right, so now I need to put his head on his neck, which this is apparently his neck. So we're gonna, I don't like how this is positioned though. I guess it's supposed to be like that. I don't know. You kind of just loosen these up. And then you just pop them together, supposedly. Is this supposed to be a single person job? I don't think so. At Disney, there's definitely no time to relax, especially if if you really want a booked like experience. My sister runs anywhere she goes. If she goes vacationing hard, man, like if she's gonna pay money, she's gonna get her full money's worth, no matter where you go. She doesn't care. It means you won't get much rest, but you will have an amazing time. She's definitely a pro when it comes to that. Like when we went, just the two of us, for her, it was like a sister bonding trip or whatever. We did not stop. We got there before the park opened. We rope dropped and we stayed until the park closed and got on the last bus every night that we were there. And of course, she's like super, I think I put it one too low. I needed to go one more up. Darn it. B, I'm probably going to need your help for this because I can't hold his neck very good while I'm trying to figure this out. But we had such a good time, though. I would go on another trip with her in a heartbeat. I mean, she is my sister, though, so. Some people like to rest more on their trips. Sorry, it's kind of off to the side because I'm really struggling to hold his head. Oh, never mind. I got it. Never mind, B. You're too slow. Actually, never mind. I still do need you. Can you just push that other pin in here? It's hard to wiggle it around. You gotta, like, wiggle it so it's lined up right. Just be careful because you tend to be really strong. Okay, got it. He stands. I still have a couple more things to put on him, but he's looking good. I'll have to take the camera down so you guys can see him better in a second. But it looks like I still have to build some like cutesy things for him, I guess. Thanks, B. I don't know what this is going to be, but I'm building it. But I had fun. But we were talking about going to the California Disney. We're not sure though yet. Next year, we were gonna take Kiki, but he's not ready. We can tell, which is a bummer. We'll just have to put it off. And until then, we might go to the one in California. Apparently, it's their anniversary or something next year. I don't know. If we can't do that, then maybe we'll go to Universal. We haven't decided. Looks like I have to make some more of these. I haven't been to the one in California. My sister just went. They went last year or the summer. This is summer. And she said it was fun, but when she went, I guess it just isn't as much as the Florida one, she said. But she goes to the Florida one. She's kind of a Disney-aholic at this point. And we gotta put more of these on here. Lock them down. Oh, knocked it off. My bad. I pushed the white stick thing in too far. Maybe I can reverse it. Try to use another one to push it back the other way. That worked. Okay. So now I have this thing that looks like this, which apparently I'm supposed to just pull this piece out and put it in there and then close it. Maybe that's lore related. Now I need to make his little antenna. Which is easy because it's just two little pieces. And then it goes on this over here. And then I just tune them in. The other side. We made good time. Hasn't even been but a little over an hour. Okay, let's keep going. We're almost done. Look at us. So proud of us. I think this is actually the plaque that goes with it. Because I had a sticker somewhere. Which, not excited about. Stickers are not my expertise. I also need to figure out where I'm going to put this baby because I'm not sure. I'll have to clean off my other shelves. Maybe I'll do that today. And then I'll have to decide which set I'm going to do next. They have some Animal Crossing sets that are super cute. I haven't gotten any of them yet, though, because they're still all full price, which is not like Lego goes on sale a lot, but lately Walmart's had a ton of them on sale, so that's where we've been getting these and just saving them forever. It looks like that's what that is. And it just sits like that because this needs the sticker put in it. Watch me struggle. I have fairly shaky hands, so this will not be straight in any way, shape, or form. But I'm going to do my best. That's surprisingly better than I expected. Look at that. Guess I got to go over his head. I did much better than I thought. These go on the back of them so I can set up this little plaque. I think I finished it. I'm double checking the book to make sure I didn't skip anything. It looks like I'm done. That book's going to go on my book page. Somehow we wound up with a handful of extra pieces. I might have missed some of the little doohickeys. I don't know. Let me double check. Well, from the external part, it doesn't look like I missed anything. So I don't think so. I think I just have extra pieces, which is common. The other bags only had a couple extra pieces, so I'm just kind of surprised I have a full handful of them. But that's fine. So I have a handful of extra pieces from this one in my extra bin. And let me get my camera down. Everyone look away for a second so you don't get dizzy while I try to move this around. Okay, so here he is. He's cute. So his head does move. It's like able to rotate a little. Let me set my camera down. Sorry. So he's got his little plaque. This is pointed a little too much at me, but sorry. So he's got this little like plaque that I made that has his little droid guy on it. I know it's so hard to see. And then here he is, looking his best. Pretty nice. His head moves up and down so he can look up and down. And his eyebrows, I guess these are like, they try to make the droids have facial expressions. So he's kind of got these eyebrow things that move. And you can move his antenna, which they also use a lot of times to make them look a certain way. And then he's got this in the back, which technically kind of moves, but I think that's not really a feature. And then this is the part of his head that you can actually like pull out. And that's where we put this little like, I don't know, the vial thing in it with the little green, yellow vials. Like I said, I think this might be storyline related. I have not seen all of the more recent Star Wars because it kind of bummed me out, and so I just go back and watch the old ones over and over again. Huh? Oh, it's from the game, which I also haven't played. Whoa. So you have to be careful. I shoved that in so hard it actually came out his neck because it's not a full container. So if you look at him, just be aware. I don't like that I can't move his neck up higher. I kind of wish I could. But he still has quite a bit of movement in his head. So that's cool. And then it said his legs can move. His legs can move back and forth a little bit, but they can't do anything like super crazy. So I wouldn't say that his movement is like a super big feature. He is, though, just really cute. So I like him. I don't think I've played a Star Wars game since I played The Force Unleashed, because Starkiller was freaking awesome. But yeah, I don't think I've played one since then. So I need to figure out where I'm going to put him with his little plaque. For now, he's going to sit on the corner of my desk, because that's where I have space for him. So he'll go over here. Maybe that's a good spot right now. And we took a lot of stuff off the walls because they wound up working on some construction stuff today on the outside of the house. Watch your eyes because I'm moving the camera. So like all of the stuff that I put up the other day is obviously all gone and it's all put away because they were doing some stuff on this wall over here and we didn't want some of it to fall off. So we wound up taking a lot of the stuff off the walls. But it's all going to go up again soon. So a lot of it's like on this shelf that's over here, but it'll all wind up going back eventually. And I'll have more time to clean it. And hopefully I'll have more time to stream again soon. I'm not sure. I could technically stream again later today if I wanted, but I think I'm not going to. It's already it's after 3:30. So that's probably all I have. I wound up not talking about Ghost at all. I can do that some other time. It's kind of like a normal thing for me. And I think I'm gonna go play Oblivion for a little bit. So I'll be posting in my stories maybe a lot about me playing Oblivion because I can't stream it. So thanks. Yeah, I'm so glad that it's done. It looks really cool. I kind of want more droids just because they look really cool, and I'm kind of into that cyberpunk techwear aesthetic right now. It's like a cool alternative aesthetic, and you can still be gothy but still look cyberpunky and techweary. And the little droids are just cute, so maybe I'll see if they have more of them. I think I have another Star Wars set in here. This is this one is not a legit set. This is B's favorite, one of his favorite Siths. Is it your number one favorite Sith or just one of them? General Grievous. Just one of them. He's also one of my favorites, but we have this bust. You have another helmet over there too, don't you? That you already put together. But it's is it one of the Fets or is it the new bounty hunter from the new one? Gosh, I can't even think. Sorry, I know I'm a bad fan. I don't know everything about it. But this is by this other brand. I don't know. This Mock building. I don't know what that is. Oh, this is a Mandalorian. He has the Mandalorian. He already put this one together. He used to put these together more, but then they just kind of started adding up because he got into gaming a lot more again. So it takes a while. He's got like Hagrid's hut and stuff.
Favorite Sith? Jar Jar Binks.
His favorite Sith, he says, is Jar Jar Binks. I didn't send you the Darth Maul Jar Jar Binks mashup, did I? No. Somebody made like a full on like hand painted, handcrafted bust sculpture of it.
I'm kidding, by the way.
He's not really kidding that much, though. My sister's favorite was always Darth Maul. I think Grievous was one of my favorites, too. It looks really cool, but this is, again, it's a knockoff kit. Well, can you even say it's a knockoff kit or Lego? Like, because there's a lot of different people that make similar things. So I say knockoff kit, but it's just not Lego branded. So sometimes there's issues with these. Like, the Stardew Valley set was really cool, but, like, it just feels different. You know what I mean? So I could put this one together next, or I do have some Harry Potter sets, which are Brandon's. I have 4 of those, 3 of those, no 4 of those. So I might do one of those instead. I don't know. Switch things up and get things done. So then I have a reason. I don't want to buy more Lego kits until I get all of these finished. You know what I mean? And then maybe I'll do the Animal Crossing ones, or maybe I'll pick up some of those Pokemon ones that are really cool. Try to find the Gengar one. But in the meantime, that's all I have. I'm gonna go play some Oblivion because, of course, I am. And I will probably be updating my stories because, of course, I will. That's like what I do. And if you guys want, I'll keep talking over there. Obviously, I always answer my messages because I'm chronically online. But yeah, that's all I have. Thank you